obviously we're living in a different age. It's 2009. A lot of technology has enhanced the music industry, and it seems like the world is becoming smaller. The globe is in tune to what's going on throughout the world. Do you think it's important that Connecticut is represented when the world is looking at? Doesn't matter where you're from.
It's very important. It's probably the most important thing in 2009 and beyond, because we're one state that hasn't got. It might be the most important thing in hip hop, in my view, and that's coming from all props to every other state. It's like Connecticut is like the Obama of this year, becoming president. That's how Connecticut is. Because it's got to be one of the last states. I mean, you got a lot of places of people that at least they're from an area or something like that, even if it's Maryland or something, or Roxbury, Roxbury, Boston, which is Massachusetts, or somebody from somewhere, even if they blew up in another state, they probably came from another area and they might have said it in their music or something like that. I don't hear nothing from Connecticut. I still haven't heard anything. I hear people give shout outs to us because they want to have our money. They want us to spend money when they come to perform. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna keep it 100. I ain't heard. Connecticut is like it's dead silent, and it's not because it's loud here. But we are basically, I think, kind of overshadowed, and I think that it's time. I think single-handedly, I'm making a statement today. I think that's probably the most important thing in hip-hop right now, that Connecticut gets on. Cats need to stop hating. I think right there, that's got to be the most important thing. I consider myself an elder statesman in this city, and at the end of the day, I think that's a very important thing for hip-hop, not only for Connecticut, because I think hip-hop needs to diversify. It would be so ill. Imagine coming in with a brand new sound, a bunch of people that weren't out before. That's just like Staten Island happened with Wu-Tang. I mean, before Wu-Tang came out, they were saying that Staten Island wasn't even considered a borough. It was considered a borough, but they never would mention at the party. They'd be like Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, Long Island. They would mention Long Island. They wouldn't mention Staten Island. And so it's like Shaolin, with them having the boat out there, and you have to take the ferry. People knew where it was, but it always was considered kind of like a stepchild. You know what I'm saying? Where everyone else was actually the blood-born kids. And then they came in, but when Wu-Tang came on, and not only Wu-Tang, their affiliates, King Just, if you're old enough to remember, Shaheem, any of them other cats, you know what I'm saying? They all had their own style, and they bum-rushed the game, and it was like, yo, Shaolin is in. They came in a big way. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. That's what I feel about Connecticut. Yeah. We got a ton of talent out here with real true passion and the real true MCs, just like every other state with their own real swagger. And I think it's time for them to get on. It's time for the articulate, straightforward, kind of scholarly, but yet still hood cats to get on. And that's basically our sound. A lot of us are like that. We got education out here, but we got streets out here too. We got grind out here. We also have a lot of adventure, and it's real quiet, but we got money. There's a lot of different things that we have here, and I think all together it makes for a nice big pot of gumbo for hip-hop.
So let me ask you, I've heard a writer, I forget who it was, I think it was either Walter Mosley or James Baldwin, and they said that it's important for a writer to have his own voice. So having said that, Connecticut, what do you think would be Connecticut's unique voice? What is the story that is so unique to Connecticut that the world would want to hear? And because I always get asked the question, what's Connecticut like? What is it?
Connecticut is the best of all worlds because we have the inner city. We have inner cities here, not the worst in the world compared to a lot of other places. We do have places like Bridgeport and New Haven and Ansonia that have some real hard hoods, straight up. Even in Stamford there was a few, but we've cleaned it up a little bit more here. But still in all, we have inner cities.
Yeah, we're actually close to one right now. It's the last tenement building right we have.
The Merle Lab is the last building, and the only reason they want to knock it down is for gentrification.
You can see it in the background.
Yep. Now, here's the thing. What makes Connecticut unique is we have that. Then we have some of the richest people in the world, and quiet as it's kept, because Greenwich at one time was like the richest area in the world.
In the world.
Right here.
U.S.
In the U.S. Well, in my eyes, it's almost the world, because the U.S. really is the richest, continent. Pardon my French, but in reality. But you're looking at cats that are very successful. So you have good education. You have a lot of things that maybe a lot of other states don't have. But then you got the same thing that they have. So with the mix of good opportunity as well as poverty, I think you get a rap style that is rough edge, but still like real smooth. It's kind of like in one, really in one. A lot of people claim that that's their style, even in New York and other places like that. But here, I think it's the whole state is like that. And I think that, here's the thing too, different people are going to represent different things. You can't really put, everybody wants to try to put Connecticut in a whole sound, or any other state, South having the crunk, or, Midwest, Nelly and them with the whatever. I would say here would definitely be lyrical, and pretty much very thought-provoking hip-hop. That's what I would say, because I think it's a state of intellectuals, but it also has so many different sides. I mean, I think putting those sides together is going to be our key to victory. I think the west side, the east side, the south side, everybody needs to represent whatever it is on their side, whatever they saw, and be themselves. And when all these crews come together and come out, it's going to form a sound and a movement that continues to drive. If I had to put it in a box, I would say definitely thought-provoking, intellectual hip-hop with a rough edge. But I think it goes further than that. I think it really has to do with representing. See, hip-hop is individualism. It always came easy to me for me to represent myself and not do anything else. If everybody does that in Connecticut, we'll be all right, because the natural formation of a style will come. And then people will hear it and be like, okay, this is the sound, this is what's up. And even that one MC could do that. Whoever the first one's out, that could set the bar for a style in Connecticut. But overall, I think from my analyzing, and this is years of analyzing and watching the city and the state going to different areas, I'd say it's thought-provoking, lyrical hip-hop. Nobody can talk the poverty like they might be able to talk in New Orleans, or the poverty that they might be able to talk even in New York. Because we're so small. But we do have poor individuals, but the poor in Connecticut is a lot different than the poor in New York. Matter of fact, most of the people out there think we're rich. We're not rich. But
most of the country thinks we're incredibly rich.
Yeah, exactly. But, you'd be surprised, it's a mix. But with the money, we do have access to good education. We have access to facilities. There's a lot of activity, a lot of things that we do going on. We have a lot of venues here that a lot of New York rappers come in. New York rappers, every rapper in the world come to Connecticut and get guap. It's time for us to be represented on the hip-hop end. They come here to get guap. Even DJs know. Big Mike is from here. So, you get a lot of people that can come here to get guap. And, I feel that. But you got representation on the artistic side. And Connecticut is not, there's no such thing as coin. Look at Chicago. Look at the way Chicago blew up. Everybody, gets their chance. Chicago had, in the early 90s, all they had was maybe Twista and maybe Common. You know what I'm saying? And Do or Die, maybe, Now they got Lupe Fiasco, they got Kanye West, they got, the Do or Die came back out, they've been on the strength of Kanye and them blowing up. You got Rhymefest, and they're all from different sides. Like Lupe Fiasco from the west side, and like Kanye's from the south side, and then Rhymefest is from, I think he's from the north side. So they all represent different, parts. And you look at all those MCs, they're all real different. You know what I'm saying? Even though they're all Chicago, they all look out for each other. And I think that's going to be the key in Connecticut. Once we start looking out for each other and we represent our different swags, people will begin to respect us.